Hi, fifth graders. So, yesterday we started talking about dividing decimals. Today we're going to continue with dividing decimals. So, yesterday we were using models to divide decimals. Today we are going to continue to use models a little bit, but we're also going to use the standard kind of long division way. So, let's look at example 1. There are 8 4/10 meters left on a roll of ribbon. Nancy wants to cut the ribbon in half. What will be the size of each piece of ribbon? So since half just means to cut something into two equal pieces, it means we have to find 8 4/10 divided by 2. So to estimate, to kind of make sure that we're on the right track, we know that 8 divided by 2 equals 4. So our answer should be somewhere around 4. So step 1 is to place the decimal point directly above the decimal point in the dividend. So we'll take our decimal point and put it directly above, just like when we were using our stack and solve with multiplying. We move our decimal point. Our decimal points are kind of like magnets, they stick together. And then we would divide like we would with whole numbers. 2 divided into 8 4 times. We bring down our 4. 2 goes into 4 2 times. And our remainder is 0. So our answer, our quotient, is 4 2/10. So 8 4/10 divided by 2 equals 4 2/10, which means that each piece of ribbon will be 4 2/10 meters long. We can use multiplication to check our answer. So we can stack 4 2/10 times 2 and multiply it out to get 8 4/10. We can also use models and count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And 1, 2, 3, 4/10. Then if we go on to the next page and we look at example number 2, it says find $6.54 divided by 12. Round to the nearest cent. So I'm going to underline that twice so I remember to come back to it later because that's important. Step 1, we place the decimal point directly above the decimal point in the dividend. So our decimal point goes straight up to the top. And then we divide like we would with whole numbers. So remember, when we have a 2-digit divisor, the number on the outside, we have to divide with that whole number. 12 can't go into 6, so we have a 0. But 12 can go into 65. If I don't know off the top of my head, I can do some guess and check off to the side. So let's try 12 times 4. Not quite. Let's try 12 times 5. That's a little bit closer. So that means that the most times that 12 can go into 65 without going over is 5 times. 5 times 12 is 60. Then we subtract 65 minus 60 equals 5. And we bring down the 4. Now, one of the reasons I like to have my guess and check off to the side and I don't erase it is because I can use it later on. So I know already that 12 can't go into 54 5 times because that's too high, but it can go in 4 times. And 4 times 12 is 48. And then we subtract. 8 can't subtract into 4, so we have to borrow. So 5 becomes 4, and 4 becomes 14. 14 minus 8 we can do. 14 minus 8 is 6, and we bring down our 0. Now again, we have that number over here already. So we know that 12 times 5 is going to give us 60. And 60 minus 60 is 0, so we have no remainder. So we have to annex the 0 I forgot about that one. We had to annex a 0 at the end to continue dividing. Now, if we didn't get a 0 at the end here and we had to keep on dividing, we would have to add another 0 to the end. So we're not done because the question says to round to the nearest cent. So what that means is we're rounding to the hundredths place. So if we round to the hundredths place, $6.54 divided by 12 equals $0.545 or 554 thousandths of a cent. And when we round it to the nearest cent, it's 55 cents. And then we can use multiplication to check. So let's look at two more problems together and then I'll let you work all on your own. So let's look at 3 divided into 48 and 33 hundredths. So 3 goes into 4 once. So we subtract 3 to get 1. We bring down our 8. 3 can go into 18 6 times. 6 times 3 is 18. We subtract and get 0. We bring down the 3. 3 can go into 3 once. We subtract 3 and get 0. We bring down the next 3. We get 1 again. We have to remember to bring our decimal point straight up. So our quotient is 16 and 11 hundredths. For number 2, we have 2 divided into 8 and 8 tenths. So 2 goes into 8 4 times. Oops, made a mistake there. We bring down the 8. 2 goes into 8 4 times again. We have to bring up our decimal point. And our quotient is 4 and 4 tenths. So the practice pages are listed online. You also have some practice work online. The assignments for Monday and Tuesday is the same assignment because it may take you a little while, but if you finish it all in one day, then that just means that you're done early. If you have any questions or you need any help, please let me know. Send me an email or I can meet with you virtually. Thank you. Have a fantastic day, 5th graders.